All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Next Level webinar series with Travis Robertson. The session today is called the Sales Maker Playbook, How to Drive More Leads and Fuel Your Pipeline. And the session is designed for agents who are committed to the business, serious about serving their clients at a high level, and ready to grow beyond just getting by. If you're coachable, decisive, and willing to do the work, you'll walk away with actionable tools you can implement immediately, which is absolutely the goal of our next level classes. So make sure that you have something to write with because I expect you're going to want to take lots and lots of notes. Travis Robertson has made it his mission to help real estate agents build high 6 and 7 figure businesses that fund their lives and dreams. He's the CEO, founder, and master coach at Don't Settle Coaching, as well as the CEO and co founder of Engyne Systems, real estate's only done for you CRM platform. With one of the highest success rates in the industry, Travis's clients build businesses that are blessings to their families, dominate their markets, and place them on award stages and top agent lists all over the world. Travis is a creator of the High Performance Agency Academy, the High Performance Team Academy, and the Real Estate Playbook. And he has been featured rather, on every major stage within the industry and is known for his transformational training, his high energy, and his authenticity and his elite coaching. Most importantly, he is the husband to his beautiful wife, Lisa, and father to his two amazing girls, London and Ayla. Welcome, WMLAR members. Thank you all for being here. Look for the replay of Travis's presentation to be in next week's menu. But we are so glad that you are here to participate in this webinar. And Travis, thank you so much for being here. We are grateful that you took the time out of your life to share your expertise with us today. I'll kick it right over to you.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be with WMLAR. I'm glad I know how to pronounce that because I was like, WMLAR. That's a little too long. So it's great that you have a simple way of saying that. I like that. So it's great to be with you guys. We're going to jump right in because I want to be respectful of everybody's time. And I'm going to get my screen shared here and then we're going to kick it off. So hopefully, like Andrea said, you have stuff to take notes with. Andrea, I don't know if you're seeing this. Other people are jumping in. I'm getting the
Yep, I'll take care of
notifications.
that.
Perfect.
Yep.
Excellent. And let me get this blown up. Everybody see my screen okay? Give me a thumbs up. Perfect. All right. And then I am going to open. By the way, if you have questions as we're rolling through and you want to drop them into the chat, for now, that would be great because that way I can make sure that as I'm doing stuff, I can just keep an eye on if I'm saying something you're like, that makes no sense, that'll at least allow me to kind of clarify if I'm not making any sense. So, all right, let's do this. So today we're going to be talking about the Sales Maker Playbook. This is how to drive more leads and fuel your pipeline. So quick show of hands, how many of you want to make more money? Cool. Some of you aren't sure. That makes me nervous. You're like, I don't know. So here's what I know. There's somebody in your world that wants you to make more money. Even if it's not you, there's somebody who's like, hey, I'll tell you what, you make it, I'll spend it. It's going to be great. So this is going to be very, very practical. We're going to get right into the heart of driving more leads and converting more of the leads you're already getting, plus the leads you're going to be driving into clients because leads are great, but leads don't pay the bills. So with that, let's jump in. And let me just start by saying this. I think we can all agree. The real estate market has evolved, right? Like we've all sensed it. We've all felt it. It's changed, it's evolved, and it's continuing to evolve. It's never going to be stagnant. It's always going to be shifting. And now with AI hitting the market, we've got more pressure on what's happening in real estate that's forcing everybody to have to figure out, how do I adapt and how do I take advantage of what's going on? Because here's the truth. Most agents have really become roadkill in this industry. And we've been watching, and I almost put a picture of like a dead squirrel on here. And I was like, that's probably not appropriate. So I just decided to leave the dead squirrel off the roadkill slide. But the idea is very simple, is that as the market evolves, there are a number of agents that are always going to get just left behind, that are just going to get essentially run over by the shifts and by the changes that are taking place in the market. And my desire for each and every one of you is that instead of being the ones that get hammered by the changes, you're the ones that look at it and go, okay, anytime there's a shift, anytime there's a change, there's huge opportunity for those agents that see the change, that see the shift and go, okay, how do I take advantage of it so that I can be the one to capitalize on it, make the money I want to make, and then see the next change and ride the next change. So if you're always looking for it to just get into a rhythm, hit your stride, and hit cruise control, you're probably in for a rude awakening, because we're seeing more and more that there's just going to be more pressure on you as technology changes, as competitors enter the marketplace, as there's been downward pressure on commission, regulations, all sorts of things happening. It's not getting any better. It's going to continue. So how do we take advantage of that? And this is what I want to do, is kind of a quick gut check. And I'm not going to ask you to fill out a survey or type yes into the chat. Yeah, that's the one that I've been struggling with. But all I want to do is just kind of get a sense from you and just kind of check in with you. So you don't have to raise your hand. I'm not here to call you out. But I want to ask this. Have you experienced any of the following things in the last 12 months? You know, maybe you've had feast or famine months where it's like, I had a really great month, and then I had a couple really crappy months, and then I had a decent month, and then a not so decent month, and that up and down feast or famine roller coaster. If you've had that, I really want to help you get out of that. Or maybe you've had leads falling through the cracks where it's like, man, I've had some leads come in and then they kind of disappeared and I don't really know what happened to them. And I know I've had some opportunities that I've sent elsewhere. We want to fix that. Maybe you've fallen behind on lead follow-up. And so, you know, not only did the lead slip through the cracks, but maybe there's some that you actually just forgot about and you stopped following up with them. And maybe the follow-up started getting weird and you didn't know how to keep in front of them at the right time with the right information, or even when to specifically follow up with them. Or maybe you've been in a space in the last 12 months where you've had moments where you've worried about, where's that next deal going to come from? And you know, I just put my last deal under contract and I got nothing on the horizon, and that's creating anxiety or frustration or nervousness around, how am I going to pay the bills, keep the lights on? You know, I got into this business because of the opportunity, and now I'm wondering, where is that opportunity going? Or maybe you're a team leader and you're just struggling to get your agents on the team to follow up with leads, to do the work they need to do to experience what they want for their life and their business, but also to help you grow the business, serve more people, and have more fun and freedom in your business. So if you've experienced any of that, here's what I'm here to tell you. Everything we're going to cover today is going to help any and all of those challenges, and probably a lot more. So if you've been there and you're like, yep, one of those I definitely felt, or a few of them definitely experienced, good news is everything we're going to cover today is very practical and designed to help you get out of that feast or famine roller coaster. Because right now, and I want you to think about this, the single largest expense in your business are the deals that you're sending to your competitors. And most people don't think about that, because we look at the checks we write, or some of you are like, I don't even use checks anymore, it's all on credit card. But you look at that credit card statement or that, you know, bank statement every month and you're like, that's a big expense, that's a big expense. But what we don't see on those expense reports is all the money that could have been ours on the top line that went somewhere else because we fell down on the job. And that is the biggest expense, single largest expense in any business, are the deals you're sending to someone else. And I don't want you to be like the Oprah of real estate, where it's like, and you get one of my clients and you get one of my clients. It's like, we want you to be the one that is like, no, I'm going to take your clients and they're going to become my clients, because I want to serve every client that I am supposed to serve. If you're supposed to be my ideal client, I want to be the one to serve you. I don't want you being served by somebody else who isn't going to serve you the same way that I am. And that's what I want for all of you as well, is I want you to get all the deals that you're supposed to get. And I only want you sending off the deals to somebody else that you're like, actually, I don't want to work with you, but I will take 25% of you being somebody else's headache. And then you can go refer them to your person you don't like least in the world and just be like, hey, you know who you should call is this agent. You take 25% and you send the headache to them. That you can do. But if you're supposed to serve them, I want you serving them. And this ultimately happens where you're sending deals to your competitors when there's no clear plan for how you're going to build your business, how you're going to manage it, and how you're going to scale it. And so if you don't have those things in place, it's just this constant churn and revolving door, and you're just bleeding out cash that could be in your bank account to others. So here's what I want to tell you. We're going to cover a lot of ground today, a lot of slides, a lot of things I'm going to put up here, and there's no humanly possible way you can capture it all. So I want to make it really easy for you to get the slides for today. Plus we've got some other gifts, mindset training modules, free leads, business planning guide, coaching strategy session, all sorts of things you can take advantage of. We really want to help you make 2026 your best year yet. So bunch of things to help you do that. If you want to get all that, just scan, give us your information. We're not going to pester you with a bunch of phone calls or anything like that. We just want to serve you and help you get the most out of the time today. So let's talk about 3 shifts I want you to make in your business. 3 shifts that are going to ultimately change how you generate leads and how you convert those leads into more clients. Shift number 1 is this. I want you to shift the way you think. And we're going to spend the least amount of time on this, but I'm here to tell you this is probably the most important shift that you actually need to make, because I can hand you the playbook for $1 million real estate business. And the truth is, if your mindset has you stuck at $250,000, handing you $1 million a year business won't change the fact that that business is going to be a $250,000 business in about 1 to 2 years, because our mindset determines the distance that we're ultimately going to go and the size that we're ultimately going to get to. So I can't take somebody that is stuck with $100,000 mindset and get them to a $500,000 a year business, because they're going to keep self-sabotaging along the way. So mindset truly matters, but we're going to spend the least amount of time here. And the question I have for you is this: are you an order taker or a sales maker? Are you an order taker or a sales maker? And what is the real difference, and how do we make that shift from order taker to sales maker? Because one is a victim of the market, the other is in control of their destiny. So the average agent in this industry, and I would actually argue that it's closer to about 80% of agents in this industry are actually what I call order takers. And it doesn't mean that they're bad people, doesn't mean that they're bad at real estate. In fact, some of the best order takers I've met are really great at real estate. The problem is they're struggling in their business, not because they're not good agents, but because they don't know how to go out and make sales happen. And so elite agents, the ones who win in any market up or down, those are the agents who've understood how to make the shift from order taker to sales maker, and they've just started to accept that this is what it's going to take to get to the level of success that I want and that I desire. And as long as I'm willing to do what it takes, I can have what it is that I say that I want. But if you don't know how to make that change and you don't know what's expected, it can be really hard. So let's do a little quick inventory of, have you been an order taker? Now, real quick, I'm going to pull the slide off the screen for a second, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to pull you guys can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm pulling you guys right in front of me before I share this. I'm going to offend some of you, and I want you to hang with me, because I care about you and I love you too much to leave you unoffended. And so it doesn't mean that if you do anything that's on this slide, you're like, oh my gosh, she's picking on me. I'm not picking on you. None of the things I'm going to put on the slide are inherently bad on their own. And if you do 1 or 2 of the things, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that there's a reason, if you've experienced any of those things in the last 12 months that I talked about, the feast or famine, losing deals, sending clients to other agents, any of those things are coming from these things that I'm going to be putting up on the slides, and I'm going to explain it all. So hang with me. Don't abandon just because you get offended or you're like, oh my gosh, like that hurt my feelings. I love you. I care about you. I want the best for you. And so, can I get a thumbs up that you agree that I'm going to hang tight? You're going to let me explain it all, okay? Perfect. Now, move you guys back over to my other monitor. Here we go. Have you been an order taker? How do you know? Number one, you work primarily only by referral. And this is where it's like, oh, shots fired. You know, he woke up and chose violence today. Okay. So I love referrals, and I get a bad rap of people going, oh, Travis hates referrals. And the reality is I don't. I love referrals. I think referrals are awesome. But real estate is the only industry I've ever encountered where people believe it's a great idea to build a business just off of repeat and referral. We're going to spend a little bit more time on this when we talk about lead generation, so I'm not going to belabor this point here, but I want to help you understand something. The challenge with referrals is you have no idea when you're going to get the next one. So if I go to an agent and they tell me that 95% of my business comes from referrals, my first question is always, does that scare you? And they're always like, well, what do you mean, does it scare me? And my next question is, well, let me ask you a question. In the next 30 days, exactly how many referrals are you going to get? And the only honest answer is, I don't know. That's the scary part, is you never know when your next referral is going to come from. So if 95% of your business is coming from a source that you don't know when the next one is coming in, that's the that drives a lot of the feast or famine that so many agents experience. So it's not that I don't want you to get as many referrals as possible. It's that I want you to have other sources that can supplement and offset dips in the referrals. Number two is they have no control or predictability in lead flow because it's primarily by referral. So they never know where their next lead is coming from, and they have no way to control. We're going to fix that today. They prefer only the warmest of opportunities. That's why they love referrals, because referrals, they're really nice. And it's like, oh my gosh, Becky told me you're awesome and that I should work with you. And you're like, that's great. And then you have a client and you really didn't have to do too much to earn the client other than be great for Becky, who gave you the referral. So when a lead comes in that's not a referral, it's like, well, what do I say? How do I handle it? They're ghosting me. They're not responding to me. And it's like, wow, referrals are responsive. Leads from other sources aren't referrals, and yet we want them to act like they're a referral, and we get frustrated. They don't like to have uncomfortable conversations, so those conversations of people going, well, I'm just looking. I was just on the website browsing, and, we're probably 6 months out. And it's like, well, how do I handle those situations? It's uncomfortable. It's weird. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be salesy. Can I just get back to the referrals and the past clients and the friends and family? They don't like to call on and follow up with colder leads. Now, I'm not saying cold calling. I'm saying leads that maybe are colder because it's been a few months since you talked. It's been 6 months since you last connected. And it's like, well, now again, back to that weird conversation of what do I say? They don't have a game plan for long-term lead and client nurturing. That's why so many leads go cold rather than staying warm and nurtured until they're ready to move forward. And because they don't have control or predictability in their business, they love free. They don't want to invest in their business. And it's hard to invest in your business when you don't know where your next deal is coming from, because how can I commit to lead generation or to a CRM or to systems or coaching or training or whatever it is when I don't know when my next deal is coming? So how can I commit to expenses when I don't know when my income's going to hit again? So they're always looking for that free solution for everything. And the challenge is, in business, we have to invest money in order to make money. And those are the ones that are feeling the shift the hardest right now. And the challenge is that some of these things can work in an up market. And the truth is, it's like, yeah, are there certain markets where you can get 85 to 90% of your business from referrals and past clients and, repeat? Yeah, absolutely. Those are bullish markets. And in strong bullish markets, the reality is that even bad strategies can yield good results. But it's when the market changes that we start to encounter problems. And I love what Warren Buffett said. He said, only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. And in reality, in business, when we don't have a strategy for client acquisition, we're swimming naked. And when that tide shifts, we get hit really hard. And we'll dig into this a little bit more. So what's a sales maker? Sales makers kind of the opposite. They love when referrals or orders show up, but they don't depend on them. They have other sources of leads that are able to offset any dips that may occur in the referral strategy. And they have strategies for referrals as well. So it's not like they just hope they get referrals. They're intentional about driving more, but they have other strategies in place. They create control and predictability in their lead flow. They'll work with a variety of lead temperatures, cold, hot, whatever in between. They're willing to have the uncomfortable conversations like, crap, I kind of fell down on the job here and following up with these leads. I need to reach back out, re-engage them. It's going to be a little weird, but I can do it because at the end of the day, I'm here to serve them and I can have an uncomfortable conversation to do that. They have a game plan for long-term lead and client nurturing. They build systems to support their business. They love return on investment. So they love the idea of putting money into the business and getting more money back out. And I always give this example and you know, just so you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but did you know it's illegal to print money? I know, right? Shocker. I was like, babe, I got this great idea. I'm going to buy a money printing machine and then I'm going to print money and it's going to be great. She's like, I think that's illegal. So I Googled it. Turns out it is. But you can't legally print money. But if you have a business where you put $1 in and you get $4 out, that's what I call legal money printing. And if you have a business that you could put $1 in and get $5 out, how many dollars are you going to put into the business? Like as many as I can put into the business and still survive all the work I have to do on the back end, because every dollar in gives me $4 or $5 out. That's a really great place to be. So they're willing to invest because when you have control and predictability over your lead flow, you can have control and predictability over your income, and that makes investing into your business a lot simpler of a decision to make. And honestly, they're getting excited about the shifts and the changes right now because they understand that they know how to take advantage of it and capitalize on it. So here's what I want to say. Being a sales maker, it's not about cold calling, door knocking, aggressive, hard close strategies, nothing like that. It's about taking full responsibility for your business and your income and really truly choosing to let go of anything that doesn't move you forward. Okay? Shift number 2, and this is where we're going to get very, very practical. So I want to shift the way you create leads. And this is where we're going to slaughter a sacred cow. So I don't know about anybody else, but I love steak. So it's like let's go slaughter a cow, throw it on the grill, feed it to the family. So here's where we're going to take the referral myth and we're going to finally, hopefully for you guys, put it to bed. So the question we have to answer as business owners, and every single one of you on here is a business owner, is how will I generate new leads into my pipeline? New leads. So this is separate of referrals. This is separate of past clients. Those are great, but this is, I got to get new people into my pipeline, into my world so that I can serve more people. And here's where we're going to take out this myth once and for all, is that you should primarily work by referral. And here's what I'm going to tell you, and this is really where it kind of gets shocking for people, is I genuinely, strongly, this is after 16 years of coaching and another 20 years of running companies, is that you should never get more than 60 to 70% of your income from repeat and referral in an up market. Now, let me ask you a question, guys. Are we in an up market right now? No, we're not in an up market. So if that's in an up market, what should it be in a not up market? The reverse. About 30 to 40% should come from repeat referral, and about 60 to 70% should come from non-repeat and referral sources. And let me explain the math on this. For a stagnant market repeat and referral business decreases by an average of 50%. 50%. In a down market, that can go upwards of 85%. So just doing some really quick back of the napkin math. Let's say that you do 20 deals a year. 20 deals a year. And let's say that you're like 95% of it comes from past client sphere of influence. So let's say 19 deals come from your sphere and referrals. If that drops by 50%, how many deals did you lose in that year? 8.5 or 9.5. So let's round it up to 10 deals. So you're down 10 deals, 9 to 10 deals. So you've got 10 to 11 deals that just you're still going to do, but you've got 10 to 11 deals you've got to make up from somewhere. And odds are good your standard of living is at 20 deals, but if half of your business goes away, where are you going to offset it from? That's the risk of being heavy on repeat referral business, because it is the first bit of business to dry up in a shifting market. In a downward market, it can drop by 85% or more in individual cases, but on average 85% in a down market. How do we know? Because in 2008, 2009, 2010, repeat and referral on average decreased by 85% for agents. 85%. And in most
Travis, did everyone else
40%.
lose it? Oh, Travis, we lost you for just a second there, but we
Oh,
have you back.
I'm back. Okay,
All right.
cool. So in an up market, if I get 60 to 70% of my business from repeat referral and another 30 to 40% from somewhere else that I can control, when this drops off, when repeat referral, as the market shifts, begins to dip, I can turn this up. I can throttle up my lead flow to offset the dip and keep my income relatively the same simply by offsetting the dip over here. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. So that's what we're targeting for. That's what we're targeting for. Now, the way we do this is by understanding the difference between control and influence. And this is the challenge with repeat referral business, is that you have no control over it, but you can influence it. So I can influence and create a very clear strategy on how I'm going to get more referrals, how I'm going to get more repeat business. I can influence it, but what I can't do is I can't force somebody to give me referrals. So if you need business and your business is drying up and you're like, oh crap, I need more business, you can't go to Becky, your best refer, and be like, hey Becky, I'm going to need you to send me some more referrals. Like, I need 3 names right now, Becky. Like, you can't do that. You actually, like, you're going to lose Becky and you're going to lose your best refer and you're not going to get any referrals. So you have no control. You only have influence. So we've got to start generating control over our lead flow. And here's the reality. There's 2 types of people in the world. 2 types of people in the world. It's going to blow your mind here. Ready? People you know and people you don't know. And you're like, wow, that's amazing. Like, I never thought of it that way, right? So people you know and people you don't know. But here's why this matters. All the control, growth, and predictability, it comes from people you don't know. That's where it gets hard, because we love the relational side of the business, and the lead side of the business feels weird. It feels dirty because of maybe how you've been trained to work those leads. And so it's like, well, I love the relationships, and leads, they don't know me. I don't have that built-in connection. It's weird. I have to kind of convince them to use me, and it's just awkward. It's more salesy. And I want to remove that from your mindset today, because that's where your growth, control, and predictability is going to come from, is from the people you don't know. We'll talk about how to work all of that. So the question you're trying to answer here is that, okay, if I want control and predictability in my income, then I have to have control and predictability in my lead flow, because I can't control and predict income without control and predictability in lead flow. So what are the things I need to do to create control and predictability in the next 30 days? So I want to get to the point in my business, if I'm starting a business from scratch, the very first thing I'm trying to do is trying to get control over my lead flow in any given 30-day window. Because if I can control my lead flow in a 30-day window, I can start to predict my income over the next 6 to 12 months, because I know the sales cycles. And in real estate, the sales cycle is 3 to 6 months. So if I can control my lead flow in the next 30 days, yeah, I'm going to generate some leads that could close, in 90 days. But what I'm really doing is I'm setting up my income for that 3 to 6 month heart of the business, where I can start to, every 30 days, if I know I'm getting a certain number of leads, I can really start to get control over my income 3 months from now, 4 months from now, 5 months from now, 6 months from now. And as I keep going, now my business is much more consistent, much more predictable. That's where we want to get to. So agents who are thriving in today's market, in spite of the shift, in spite of the changes, they're the ones who in advance or during this shift started to really realize this and get control over their lead flow, not just influence. So before we get into lead strategies that are working right now, I want to talk through 6 factors of lead flow. This is really important to understand. Every lead strategy, doesn't matter what it is going to have one or more of these factors that you have to consider when you're considering which strategies make sense for my business and for how I want to grow my business, work my business, and where my business is currently at. Now, you're never going to find a lead strategy that has all 6 of these. They're always going to have a combination, but knowing where your business is at and what your needs are will help you identify, okay, these are the factors that are most important to me. So then when I'm evaluating the strategies, I can go, does this strategy match up with the lead flow needs that I have? So you need to understand what the 6 factors are. So let's walk through them really fast. Number 1 is this: speed. How quickly can the strategy begin to work? How quickly can the strategy begin to work? Some strategies take a very long time to work. Let me give you a great example. Direct mail. Do I think direct mail can be a good strategy? Yes, for certain people. If I need deals in the next 12 months, is direct mail my go-to strategy? Not a chance. It's expensive, it's time consuming, and to really get the benefit, you have to run it for 12 months minimum. So if I'm trying to impact my income this year, this isn't the direction I'm going to go. And sending out 150 mailers or 150 postcards is not going to convert, because that's going to have a less than 0.5% conversion rate on it in the first 12 months. And that's if I'm mailing to good stuff to good people at a good enough rate. So there's just no way to do this. So if I need deals right now, I have to have strategies that can start to work sooner rather than later. Second is time. How much time needs to be invested? So the busier you get, the more successful you get, the less time you have. So strategies that require high time investment, I'm just going to look at and go, it's probably a great strategy, but I can't do it because I don't have the capacity with my time to be able to do that. Number 3 is cost. How much does a strategy cost? So I'm going to give you some free strategies, some low cost strategies, some paid strategies that you can mix and match, but every strategy is going to carry some type of cost associated with it. That cost could be a referral fee. That cost could be my time going into it. That cost could be a cost per lead that I'm willing to invest. So there's always going to be a cost. I just have to know what that cost is and what my business can bear and afford. Number 4 is predictability. This is really important. Can I accurately predict how many leads I will get in a 30-day window? Some strategies, the answer is yes. I'm going to give you some where you can absolutely, in the next 30 days, change your lead flow like that. Other strategies, you're like, not a lot in the next 30 days, but over time, I can start to create more predictability with these things. But again, it's going to take more time to get to that level of predictability. Number 5 is control. Can I not just predict it, but can I control the flow of leads within a 30-day window? So the more I can control my lead flow in 30 days, the less I have to stress about slow months 2, 3, 4 months from now. And then number 6, which is one I almost didn't put on this slide, is quality. Because a lot of times lead quality gets blamed when it's not a lead quality problem, it's a follow-up quality problem. And we blame the leads for the work we didn't do. We're like, oh, see, online leads suck, Zillow leads suck, Google leads suck, website leads suck. Everything sucks. And the reality is the leads don't suck, our follow-up process sucks. And we blame the lead for where we fall down. And so the reason I almost didn't put this on here is because I don't want you to default to all online leads suck or all these leads suck when they don't. Now, there are some strategies that do suck and do produce crappy leads. And let me give you a really great example of them. If a company asks you to pay a fee up front plus a percentage on the back end, and you have no idea who is behind the company or what state they operate in, other than maybe it's a Delaware corporation or a Wyoming corporation where they don't have to disclose who the owners are. If it's a company like that, run, do not walk from it, because the vast majority of them are absolute scams. And they'll scam a bunch of people, shut the business down, and spin up as another business name and do it all over again. So there's a lot of those companies that are like, it's $1,000 to get started and then 20% at closing, but we're going to give you only qualified leads. Run, do not walk from those companies. They're absolute scams. So very rarely, though, is lead quality the issue. So with that in mind, let's look at 5 strategies, and they're all going to hit on different ones of those factors, but all of these are high quality leads. You just have to figure out, will they work for my business and where my business is at and where my needs are right now. Number 1 is this. My favorite strategy that is absolutely free with no money out of pocket. And here's what I tell people. If I were a brand new agent starting up right now, and you don't have to be a brand new agent to do the strategy, by the way. I'm just saying that if I were a brand new agent starting up right now, this is how I would generate my business. You could drop me in any city where I know nobody, and this is what I would do. I would go buy old leads from agents who've been sitting on dead leads that they're not working, and I would go work those leads and cut them 1%. Because there are a lot of agents right now in every market who have hundreds, if not thousands, of dead leads that they are not working, that at some point raise their hand, interested in real estate, interested in property, interested in selling, and they don't want to work cold leads. So I would go to them and go, hey, look, out of curiosity, like getting started in the business, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just wondering, like, have you generated leads at all? Have you tried lead generation strategies? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And they're going to go, oh yeah, I tried Zillow. I tried this. They all suck. They're all crap, blah, blah, blah. They don't convert. I work primarily by referral. Great. Out of curiosity, do you have a bunch of these old leads that are just like sitting in your database doing nothing? Yeah, I do. Well, I have an idea. I would love to buy those leads from you. And here's the thing. Like you said, they probably all suck. They're probably all crap. But I'll make you a deal. If I close anything from it, I'll give you what? 20%? Because right now you're making 100% of nothing. What if I gave you 20%? And they could, I don't know, him and Han, I'll go, okay, 25. Give you 25%. Like you're making, and if you want them back, just ask for them. If you decide 3 months from now you want to work them yourself, I'll stop. You tell me, I'll delete them from my database. I'll hand them back to you. But worst case scenario, right now, maybe I cut you a check for 25%. And people are like, well, will agents really do this? Yes. So we have a client in Nevada who, when he did this, he came into our program. He was 22 years old, and I'll call him Max. And he looked like he was 12 on a good day. Like, the dude was young. He lived in Vegas, so all of his friends were where? The casino and the bars. So he didn't exactly have the greatest referral network. He's like, I'm not getting referrals from my drunk friends. So he did the strategy. And this is what I said. I was like, go out and find agents. I don't care if they're in your company, not in your company, start in your company. It's always easier. But he went out and started making friends with agents, and he just started calling agents and going, hey, do you have old leads? And they're like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. Within weeks, you guys, and I'm not encouraging this, within weeks, he gets on our group coaching call, and he's like, you'll never believe what happened. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, I got 10,000 leads from other agents in the market. Now, this is Vegas, so I'm not saying that you're going to get that many. I'm like, you really only need 1,000. I'm like, well, that's great, Max. Good for you. How many of you started calling? He's like, none yet. He's like, I've got a few more appointments set. I was like, time out. Your job, you're not a lead collector. You're a real estate agent. Stop collecting leads. Now go start calling the leads and working the leads. Well, he disappears for another few weeks, comes back to the group coaching call, and he's like, you'll never believe what's happened. I was like, what's going on? He's like, I started calling the leads. I'm like, and? He said, I've got 2 listings, 4 buyers writing offers, and I've got agents now calling me who said no to me. Because some agents said, no, I'm not going to give you. He goes, they're calling me going, hey, heard about how it's working. I know I said no, but do you want those leads that you asked for? And he's like, what do I do? I'm like, tell them no, unless they're willing to give you a better cut. Because at the end of the day, you don't have your pick. You could be like, look, I've got some great deals here, so I could give you 15%, 10%, or if, work at this point, you're in the driver's seat. And he built his business getting started just off of the strategy. No money out of pocket, paid at close, and he got great leads from agents. So it absolutely works. And I'd be willing to go to 50% if I absolutely needed it to get my business going. And I've had team leaders do this. Team leaders have been like, actually, I need more leads from my agents. So they went to other agents and like, hey, do you have old leads you want us to work and we'll cut you in on the close? And they were like, yeah, that sounds like a great plan. Here you go. And tossed a bunch of old leads that they would close and send referral. Like, it was mailbox money for people. Number 2, organic YouTube. Absolutely love organic YouTube. It is basically the modern day farming strategy. So it requires a little bit of investment of time and money. You can get started with less money. Does require a lot of time, but it's a great way of getting video out there. And you don't need high production to start. And with AI, it's becoming easier and easier to churn out video that's high quality, that doesn't take a lot of time, that doesn't take a ton of production, and it's only going to get better. And getting more evergreen content onto YouTube that is searchable. It's the number 2 search engine in the world, and AI is actually using YouTube videos to feed back data to people searching on AI. So the more content you have out there, the more likely you are to get served up. People are to find you through your videos and drive traffic to your website. It is a really, really great thing. It's not going to work immediately, but over time, you can really start to create strong consistency in your lead flow with people who know you, like you, and trust you because they've been watching your videos, getting good information. So when they reach out, it is a much warmer sale. Much warmer sale. Number 3, Facebook ads. Love Facebook ads. Now, the one thing to note about Facebook ads is they have a longer lead life cycle than what we're going to talk about next, which is Google PPC, Google paid ads. So Facebook ads, it's one of the lowest cost ways to get into paid advertising. You can get started for as little as $5 a day, about $150 a month. Lead cost can be pretty low, usually $5 to $10 a lead, sometimes even less depending on the market. And what you're going to find with Facebook leads is they tend to be closer to the 6 to 12 month range, not necessarily the 1 to 6 month range. And the reason is because they are lower intent leads. So think about it this way. they're on their phones doom scrolling. They're like, oh, what's going on in the world? And or Instagram, because you can, when you're targeted, when you're advertising on Facebook, you can advertise on Instagram as well. But they're doom scrolling and they're like, ooh, pretty picture, pretty house. They click on it and then they visit the website, they register, but it was an interruption marketing. It wasn't that they went out looking for homes in that moment. But the reason your ad showed up for them is because Facebook knows creepy large amounts of data about you. And they can start to predict when somebody's getting ready to buy or sell in the next 6 to 12 months based on what they're doing. So they start showing your ad to people who are more likely to click on your ad. And the reason they're more likely to click on that ad is because they're starting to get into that pattern. They're doing things that start to precede buying or selling real estate. And that's why the ad is showing up. So they're at the very early stages of the buying or selling process. Doesn't mean you can't get hot leads from Facebook. You can, but a lot of them are 6 to 12 months or even a little bit longer out, but you're building your pipeline for the future, because how many of you are going to need closings in the next 6 to 12 months? You're like, well, cool, I need closings in 8 months. Like, this is a great way of filling that up. But if I need deals right now, still I can find some, but I got to wade through a lot of leads that are longer term and not get discouraged while I'm finding the ones that are ready to go right now. So it's a great way to get started. You can start with very low budget. $5 a day usually is about where I recommend starting. Number 4, Google pay-per-click advertising. Hands down, my single favorite lead generation strategy outside of repeat and referral. So if you ask any of our clients, what is the number one source of business that you have outside of repeat referral? It's Google Ads. Now, one exception to that is our Zillow Flex teams. But Zillow Flex, most of them are using Google Ads to try and get off of Zillow Flex, because Zillow Flex is expensive. They take 40% off the top. It's a very expensive referral fee. So they are trying to get off of Zillow Flex using Google. It just takes time to build that up to offset the business they're doing from Zillow Flex leads. So, or they're heavily supplementing it, but Google is the number one lead source, pay-per-click advertising outside of repeat referral for any of our clients in our programs and anybody on our CRM platform. Now, you can get leads generally around $10 to $20 a lead. It does require a higher investment to get started. Usually, for most people, it's going to be a minimum of about $450 to $600 to get started, unless you know technically. You can get really technical and you're a geek and you're like, I geek out on this stuff. I know how to generate, like, run ads, set it all up. It's a more technical setup than Facebook ads. Facebook ads, anybody can do it. Google PPC, a little bit more challenging, a little bit more technical, really easy to spend way too much money on leads if you do it wrong. So it is a strategy, though, that if you can do it yourself, you can bring your investment down, but you're putting your time into it to offset the money you would spend to pay somebody else to do it. The single best people to run your Google PPC ads are the CRM companies. I generally do not recommend a third-party company running your Google ads. So, like, well, my nephew, he runs a marketing agency and he's going to run my Google ads. You're going to overspend and it's going to be crap. Love your nephew, he's probably awesome, but doing this for real estate is a very different game than doing this for an HVAC company or something else. It's a very different conversion process. They have to understand it. And the best companies are usually the CRM providers that also offer lead management services. There are some that are but there are a couple that are really good at it. And those are usually the first place we tell people to start, is with the CRM providers. We do it with our clients and we're good at it. Our team is really good at it. And it's hands down the number one source for closings in their business outside of repeat referral. So it's a great strategy to get started. And this is the one that if you need leads in the next 30 days, there is no better strategy to get you hot leads in the next 30 days than Google PPC. The last is what we call Engyne Lead Reveal. This is something that we built, and what this does is this takes anonymous visitors to your website, it identifies them, and it converts them into leads in your system. So anybody who doesn't register on your website, we have the ability to identify about 20 to 30% of them and convert them into leads into your system that you can then call on, email, text, connect with, like, hey, notice you're on a website, didn't get a chance to register, want to make sure you saw everything that you needed to see. What were you looking for? What can I help you find? And these convert. And they're low-cost leads, usually about $5 to $6 a lead. However, what I would always say is that it's something you do once you have enough traffic to your website to justify it. If you get like one visitor every couple of days to your website, it's not worth it. You're only paying when you get a lead, but it's not going to generate you enough volume. But if you're doing things that are driving traffic to your website, blogging, search engine optimization, video, advertising, Facebook, Google, whatever it is, you've got traffic that's hitting your website that is not registering. That's where we can come in and help you identify 20 to 30% of those people. You don't have to take them all, but you can be like, wow, there's a lot of people that got identified, and I can start to add a lead a day, 2 leads a day, 3 leads a day on top of what I'm already getting. And these are good quality leads. They landed on your website for a reason, and they can convert. So those are 5 strategies working really, really great right now to help you get control over your business. Whew, I put way too much into today's training. I was really aggressive about how much we were going to get to. So here's the reality. All of this, because we're bumping up on time, but I got more. You guys good? I have more I want to share, or I can just like cut it now. You good? All right, cool. Lead generation only works if you have a system to manage the opportunities. Let's talk about the system to manage the opportunities. And I am not going to have time to get through all of this, but I'm going to give you all of the slides so that you can get to it all and you can go back and you can take a look at it. So I want you to shift the way you cultivate leads. So leads are great, but leads don't pay the bills, clients do. How do we get them from lead to client? How do we get them from lead to client? And the question we have to answer is, how am I going to provide value and keep in contact until they're ready to move forward? Because the average lead, I don't care what the source is, the average lead is 6 to 18 months out from being ready to buy or sell. Any source. A signed call, 6 to 18 months on average. Open house leads, 6 to 18 months on average. Does that mean there aren't some that are ready to go sooner? Of course. But if the average is 6 to 18 months out, I got to have a strategy to nurture them so that they don't go cold, so that they don't get forgotten, so that they don't get lost, so that I can generate a pipeline of opportunity 6 to 18 months out. Because I need deals in 6 to 18 months. So that's what we're trying to do here. The simpler your pipelines and automation, the more likely you or your team is to adopt the system and properly work your leads. The reason most systems suck for follow-up and we get like, this sucks, is because we make it way too complicated. We're like, oh, I've got hot leads, warm leads, nurture leads, medium leads, ready to go leads. And it's like, I don't even know what it means anymore. And when do I move them from one lead pipeline to another? So here's where this comes in place, is you have to understand that there are 7 cultivation stages. 7 stages. Every lead is going to go through pretty much every one of these 7 if they become a client. They all start as a new lead. Then they go to a conversation. The very first thing you're trying to get is a conversation with a lead. Most people, they go from here. They're like, how are they ready to get to the closing table? Like, how do I get, and you're like, well, you got to work them through all the other stages first. And most of their marketing, most of their advertising is like, call me when you're ready to what? Buy or sell. I'm never, like, call me when you're ready to get to the closing table because I need deals right now. So we have to have a process that is designed to nurture them wherever they are and respect their timeline, whatever that timeline is. So what does this look like? Is we need pipeline stages that make things easier. And I'm going to hit the first half of this, and then I'm going to jump ahead. We'll wrap up, get to your questions, and I'll give you the second half in the slides. So the first pipeline you need is a new leads pipeline. You want to think of this as your default pipeline stage, and it's a waiting room. You want leads out of new leads as quickly as possible, because what am I trying to get? a conversation. I need to get you to a conversation as quickly as possible. Speed to lead matters. The faster I can connect with you, the more I the more contact attempts I make until you respond, the better it's going to be. So new leads is a pipeline stage that is only for leads I have not started to connect with and I have not spoken with. Otherwise, they go somewhere else in the pipeline. Now, every new lead then moves into what we call the 3-day follow-up plan. The 3-day follow-up plan. This is where all uncontacted leads begin their journey. So if it's an open house lead, I've already talked to them. They don't go into the 3-day follow-up plan. This is just for new leads that I have not talked to yet. It is an automation-supported 3-day follow-up plan that handles all text messaging, all emailing for the agent. So all you have to do as the agent is make your calls. That's it. You should only have to make calls. The system should do the texting. The system should do the emailing. And basically what it is, the 3-day follow-up plan is very simple. You're going to make 2 calls a day, send 2 emails a day, and 2 text messages a day for 3 days straight until you make contact. Now I know what you're thinking. I'm going to piss them off and they're not going to call me back. Here's what I always tell people, newsflash, they're already not calling you back. Might as well try pissing them off no, I'm just kidding. Like, you're not going to piss them off. You're a salesperson, you're a professional, you're going to do this. So this is what it looks like. This is the cadence. And people always go, oh my gosh, I'm going to piss them off and they're not going to call me back. And then they go, but what do I say? It's very simple. Hey, it's Travis with Robertson Realty. Got your request for information on 123 Main Street. Have a few other homes I think you might really love, but I don't want to send you stuff that's not relevant. Give me a quick call back. Let me know what you're looking for. I'll shoot you a text and an email in case that's a better way to connect with you. And I'll try you again a little later today in case maybe that's a better time of day to connect. Hope all's great. Look forward to serving you. Done. Made 3 promises. I said I'm going to text you, call you, and email you. Micro promises. Now I get to deliver on my promises. So I send a text. Hey, just left you a voicemail, wanted to follow up, blah, blah, blah. Email, same thing. It all says the same thing. I'll try again a little later this afternoon. Then I call back in the afternoon. Hey, it's Travis. Calling you back like I promised I would. Going to be around for another couple hours. Then I've got a meeting this evening with my family. But, I got a meeting this evening. So I'll try you again in the morning if I don't hear from you. Also shoot you a text and an email because if yours is anything like mine, things get buried. So I'll bump it up for you to make it easy to find. Shoot me a time. Let me know it works for you. Look forward to serving you. So I gave them 3 more promises. I'm going to text you again, email again, call you again. I'm letting them know I'm not going anywhere because I'm here to serve you. I'm here to engage with you. And then after that, you can add video in there if you want. You can be like, hey, video. And people are always like, video, I hate video. It adds 10 pounds. And here's what I always tell people. They're going to see you anyway. May as well give them a heads up. You're like, this is me, all the glory. So like it creates engagement. Hey, just left you a voicemail. Wanted to put a face with the name. I'm gonna, try you again a little later today. Wanted you to know I'm a real person. Got some properties I think you might really like, but don't want to send you stuff that's not relevant. Let me know a good time to connect. Look forward to serving you. Have a great day. Now the cool thing is I didn't say their name, so I can pre-record that video and I can just make it sound like, hey, just left you a voicemail. It's Travis with Robertson Realty, by the way. Wanted to send you some information. Don't want to send you stuff that's not relevant. Give me a quick call back or respond to this text or this email, and happy to find some time to chat with you. It separates you from your market, separates you from everybody else. And then, depending on whether you make contact, you route them. So here's the deal. People are always like, what happens if I make contact? Do I keep calling? I'm like, no, that'd be weird. It's like, hey, I'm your new BFF. I'm your realtor for life. Like, I'll call you at the end of the day, see how your day was. No, once you make contact, now you can route them based on their time frame and how you're going to continue to engage and respond with them. Does this make sense, everybody? Kind of what you're doing here to get the conversions going. So here's the deal. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. And so what I want to do is we're going to open it up for questions. And let me do this. I want to put this up again because I want to get you the slides. And I don't know how many people didn't get a chance to do this, but here's what I want to say is that my team and I can absolutely support you. Is that, you know, you could go through this, try and figure this all out on your own, and you guys are smart people, you could probably do it, and it's just going to take time. Or we can help you shortcut that process. And so there's a couple ways we can support you. Number one is through coaching. So if you want help putting these things in place in your business, you want us to shortcut that process for you, we're offering a free coaching strategy session with somebody on our team. Scan that. These are not hard pitch things where we're going to get you on the phone and slam you into a coaching program. Maybe you've been on coaching calls like that with other companies and you're like, wow, this is really a high pressure situation. It's not how we roll. Either we can help you or we can't, but we want to leave you with a clear game plan regardless of whether you work with us. So we're going to help you figure out where your business is at, where you're trying to get it, what's that game plan to get you there. And then if we can help you, we'll show you what it looks like to work with us. If not, we'll tell you that as well. Second thing is maybe you want a system like this that's all built out with all the automations, all the text messages, all the emails, all the templates, all the things you need. So you just got to upload your leads, put them where they need to go, and the system tells you every day exactly who to call. Talk to our team at Engyne. We'd love to find out how we can support you. But either way, we got some free gifts we want to drop in your hands.